Lucas stood by the small cottage he had inherited from his father, pondering how he would make a living. His only companion was his clever cat, Whiskers, who watched him with keen eyes. "Don't worry, Lucas," said Whiskers, rubbing against his leg. "Leave it to me. I'll help you become a wealthy man." Lucas chuckled, not taking the cat's word seriously, but Whiskers was determined. Whiskers sneaked into the local market where Mr. Harcourt, the greedy merchant, was selling his goods. The clever cat devised a plan to trick the merchant. Whiskers approached Mr. Harcourt with a purr, pretending to be lost and pitiful. The merchant, seeing an opportunity, decided to take the cat in, thinking he could sell it for a good price. But Whiskers had other plans. He created a distraction, knocking over valuable items and causing chaos in the merchant's stall. In the confusion, Whiskers stole a bag of gold coins and dashed back to Lucas. Lucas was astonished when Whiskers returned with the gold. "How did you do this?" he asked, but Whiskers only winked. With the gold in hand, Whiskers convinced Lucas to dress in fine clothes the king's court. Whiskers, being the clever cat that he was, sneaked into the palace and gained the attention of the king. "Your Majesty," Whiskers spoke, bowing low, "my master, the Duke of Carabas, has sent me to present his respects and offer you a gift." The king, intrigued by the talking cat and the mention of a duke, listened closely. Whiskers presented the gold as a token of the duke's, Lucas's, wealth and loyalty. The king, impressed by the supposed wealth of the duke, invited Lucas to dine at the palace. Whiskers' cleverness was beginning to pay off. At the palace, Lucas met Princess Isabella, who was charmed by his kindness and humility. Despite his newfound wealth, Lucas remained humble, which only endeared him more to the princess. Whiskers continued to weave his web of deception, ensuring that Lucas was seen as a wealthy and influential nobleman. The princess, unaware of the truth, began to fall in love with Lucas, who was equally smitten. Whiskers watched with satisfaction as his rose, knowing that the final trick was yet to come. Whiskers knew that to secure Lucas's future, he must pull off one last trick. He instructed Lucas to bathe in the river and hide when the king and his entourage passed by. As the king approached, Whiskers ran to him in a panic. "Help, your Majesty! My master, the Duke of Carabas, has been robbed by thieves and left without clothes." The king, believing the tale, ordered his men to provide Lucas with the finest clothes. When Lucas emerged from the river, he looked every bit the nobleman Whiskers claimed him to be. But Whiskers didn't stop there. He raced ahead to owned by a powerful but cruel ogre. Using his wits, Whiskers tricked the ogre into transforming into a mouse, which he promptly devoured. The castle now belonged to Lucas, and when the king arrived, he was convinced that it was Lucas's rightful home. Lucas and Princess Isabella were married in a grand ceremony at the castle. The king, impressed by Lucas's supposed wealth and nobility, gave his blessing wholeheartedly. Whiskers, now a beloved member of the royal household, watched with pride as his master lived a life of wealth and happiness. Through his cunning and cleverness, Whiskers ensured a bright future for both himself and Lucas. And so, they all lived happily ever after, thanks to the cleverest cat in the kingdom.